Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Urvashi Sharma, Associate Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication from Jagannath University, Jaipur. In today's session, we'll be discussing digital divide. As evident, the term digital divide combines two words in itself, digital and divide. The term digital here refers to information and communication technology, while divide means differences, disparity of, or gap. In general, the digital divide is a phenomena wherein those who have access to ICT, that is information and communication technology, are benefited by the use of it. Their economic well-being is ensured in the form of highly paid jobs and more business opportunities, while those who do not have an access to ICT remains aloof of these benefits and hence comparatively they are there in the disadvantageous position. The divide does not affect only economically but socially as well. Hence, digital divide is a socio-economic difference between people in their access to ICT. The term also refers to gaps between groups in their ability to use ICTs due to varying literacy and technical skills. The gap in availability of quality, useful data content, the divide is seen as a socio-economic problem. The term was first used in the mid 1990s in reference to the disparity in internet access between the rural and the urban United States of America. The idea of digital divide, as put by some scholars, echoes of reservations against claims of revolutionary power of ICT. It is commonly suggested that ICT is transforming society by bridging the distance or gap. Against this, these skeptics have pointed out that ICT is forming a new kind of gap, and this gap is known as digital divide. Their argument is based on a hypothesis found in the communication studies, that is, the knowledge gap hypothesis. The knowledge gap hypothesis suggests that each new medium of information increases gap between the informed class and uninformed class in society. Those who have access to new medium will get more information than their counterparts. This was first proposed by Philip J. Tickner and his colleagues. However, this hypothesis is applicable only in cases of print media and non-print medium, because in case of print medium, illiteracy also plays a role to widen the gap. The gap was thought to decrease as television replaces newspaper as source of knowledge, because as compared to newspaper, television requires lesser literacy. But with the advent of ICT, in particular the internet, it is feared that the gap may widen since it is predominantly a text medium based. Digital divide problem of access and other issues. There are many reasons which are responsible for the existence of the divide. First is the non-availability of the reliable ICT infrastructure to access the internet. The ICT infrastructure of a country is determined through a number of measures like the number of PCs, teledensity, etc. ICT is highly advanced technology and is available with select countries. Hence, other countries have to import the necessary structure. There is lack of resources to invest in information structure and research and development in most of the developing countries. Secondly, there is a problem in accessing the internet regularly. There is a problem of connectivity, that is availability of fast, reliable and cost-effective internet connection. Then there is cost of accessing the internet, which includes telephone tariff and line rental. Cost internet service provider ISP, to this may be added the replacement cost of computer. Cost of internet access may be prohibitive for many low income households. The quality of service provided by ISP is also important, because poor quality service available due to backward technology becomes difficult to exploit the benefit of ICT. Thirdly, education is one of the major factors hampering the diffusion of ICT amongst masses. Only those who are not literate, only those who are not only literate but also computer literates can rely or really benefit from ICT. In developing countries where government are still trying to universalize elementary education, computer literacy is a far cry. Hence, divide is bound to exist. Fourth reason is availability of relevant material in one's own language. The most important benefit of internet is that it is the vast reservoir of knowledge and information. However, knowledge should be comprehensible to those who actually require it, that is, must be available of web content in the language of the user. Another challenge for the user is to find information. The absence of relevant content may act as a barrier to internet access. Fifth is digital capacity of a society, that is e-readiness. E-readiness is capacity of the society to incorporate ICT in all its pursuits. E-readiness of the society primarily depends upon the availability of skilled human resource that is capable of using, improvising, innovating and adapting the new technologies. Different segments of society, vis-a-vis the households, business, the government, etc., should be willing to accept and absorb ICT. The government must provide a regulatory framework by making necessary laws and rules to govern the use of ICT in different sectors of society. Lesser the readiness, wider the divide, and vice versa. The concept of digital divide, as present above, may give an impression that it is a clear single gap which divides society into two groups, information haves and information have-nots. But the gap is much more complex than simple formulation. The initial stage, the debate on digital divide was focused on the issue of availability of ICT to all at an affordable cost. But now many new dimensions have been added to this debate. The overview of the dimension of the divide can be presented in following manner. Global dimension of digital divide. The global digital divide refers to difference in the availability of ICT between countries, which is reflective of existing economic realities in the world. The developed nations with the resources to invest in and develop ICT infrastructure are reaping enormous benefits from the information age, while developing nations are trailing along at a much slower pace. The difference in the rate of technology progress is widening the economic disparity between the most developed nations of the world, primarily Canada, the US, and Japan and the Western Europe, and the underdeveloped countries, once primarily Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia, thus creating digital divide. Between countries, the divides feature have common characteristics. The level of national income is strongly related to ICT diffusion and is clearly the distinguished feature of divide between industrialized and developed countries. The cost and availability of telecommunication determines the extent to which the internet is used, and per capita access costs are most often higher in poorer countries. According to latest UN Human Development Report, industrialized countries with only 15% of world's population are home to 88% of internet users. Barely 6% of world's population have ever logged on to the internet, and 85 to 90% of them are in industrialized countries. Less than 1% of people in South Asia are online, even though one-fifth of the world's population live here. Situation is even worse in Africa. There are only 1 billion internet users on entire continent of billion plus people. In early 21st century, residents of developed countries enjoyed many internet services which are not available in developing and underdeveloped countries, including widespread access, internet access, e-commerce, online education, etc. National dimension and digital divide. Within countries, the digital divide often has common characteristics. Use of the internet is more common among young generation than older one. Men and women, the well-educated than the lesser one, urban rather than rural population, and those with higher incomes. In our country, some states are ahead of others so far availability of ICT is concerned. States like Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, etc. are much more advanced in ICT as compared to states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Orissa, etc. Further, ICT is seldom available in villages where it is needed most. Income level is an important factor since, like every technology, ICT also got a cost and benefit can be reaped by those who pay for it. A study has conducted that a penetration rate of ICT for highest income group is approximately 7 times larger than those of lower income groups. Hence, the poor are largely left out of the ICT. Another significant factor is the level of education, as ICT is basically a print medium. The impact of education will be discussed below while discussing the reasons for the existence of the divide. Gender disparity is also visible in the case of ICT, and in most countries, the percentage of females is less than one third of the population online. According to Human Resource Development Report 1999, the average age of the internet user is between 30 to 40 years. However, there is a clear increase in all age groups in the world as far as use of ICT is concerned. Connectivity based divide. This is an emerging dimension of the divide which has come up due to technological innovation in the field of ICT. A new kind of digital divide based on usage of more sophisticated advanced telecom technology that include broadband, VLANs, PDAs, and other new information telecommunication technologies are emerging. So while developing countries are still in process of implementing basic telephony service, advanced countries are focusing on rolling out wireline and wireless broadband services. Thank you.